Here we have a Nintendo Switch that came in for no power and the console does not charge. Customer came in locally and the customer did not mention anything about this board being to another shop. I see a lot of signs of work on this board and I do not know what type of Hiroshima we're gonna find or if we're going to even work on this board. I do not want to work on a board with low success rate where I have to spend hours and hours and hours trying to figure out what the other person did and then come to a conclusion that the board is not fixable. I do not do that. I rather let somebody else work on that if they have time, where they can spend 2 or 3 days trying to figure out the issue. If I find a lot of work being done to that board, I just skip and do not work on it. Yeah. All right, so let's see what's going on. Let's do a visual inspection on the board. And let's discover what type of Hiroshima we are working with. Start with the battery connector. And the BQ chip, was it replaced before? I cannot tell, and I do not think it was replaced before because usually a person without experience working on a board will most likely burn that connector right next to it. But I do not see any burns. I do not see any signs of flux on that connector, so we're going to assume the chip is good. It was not replaced. And while at it, let's measure. No short, no short, no short, no short, and no short. We're going to assume the area is good. We can tell that the USB-C connector was replaced. Let's measure the pins or go over the pins and make sure all of them are solid. The soldering on the connector looks good to me. And if we check inside the connector looks like it's in excellent condition. What else? So far so good. I'm not seeing anything major. As far as the repair attempt goes, we have the M92. Measure for a short here. No short, no short, no short, no short, and we have a short. Look at this. So the person worked on this board and he could not figure out that there was a short, that there is a short on this cap here. Look at this. And the short here could be caused by the M92 chip or P13 chip, which is located on back of the board. But let's continue with physical inspection or visual inspection. Let's measure at the max chip here. No short. We do not have a short. We do not have a short. And we do not have a short. We're going to assume this area is good. Moving along. Our Joy-Con backlight connector, SD card connector, and LCD connector. How is the LCD connector? They usually shove that cable in and they end up damaging the pins inside. And the connector looks good to me. I do not see anything obvious. And we're going to assume that connector is good. Let's flip the board. And it looks like the battery gauge chip is chipped. The chip is chipped. But that does not mean that the chip is bad. But we have to take it into consideration. We have to keep it in mind. What else? And that's the P13 chip I'm talking about. And it looks like that chip was replaced. Check for a short. And my meter is off, my multimeter. Meter on. And do we have a short? And yes, we do have a short. We do have a short. Right now the problem could be this chip, P13, or it could be our M92 chip. Or it could be something else, who knows? So far so good. I do not see any signs of flux in this area, so we're gonna assume probably most likely this chip was not changed. And for the most part, I think this board is workable. I would not consider this a Hiroshima. Right now, before we do anything, let's plug in a battery and plug in a charging cable and see what happens. I was told that the console is charging at 0.6 amps, 12 volts, or 15 volts at 0.48 amps, which is not good. If I plug the charging cable, our charging station is showing 12 volts at 0.6 amps. That's not good. It should switch down to 9 volts at a higher amperage. So let's start by desoldering the P13 chip right here and see what happens. Will that release our short? Very possible. Because a short on this cap here could mean a P13 issue or M92 issue. Or it could be something else. We're gonna remove the chip and then we're gonna measure for a short again. Hopefully the short is gone. And let's see, do we still have a short? And the short is gone. Look at this. And if we flip the board, we should not have a short anymore on the M92 chip right here. Do we still have a short here? And we do not. Very nice. Let's replace the chip and hope for the best. What if we test the board right now before we replace the chip and see what happens? The chip is not needed for the console to work, but it's needed if you want to connect your console to HDMI, to a monitor or TV. Let's plug the charging cable and the battery. 12 volts, 0.4 amps. And then nothing. Black screen. So it started at 12 volts, 0.2 amps, and now it just went black. Let's try this one more time. Nothing. Right? So we may have more than one issue. 12 volts, 0.1 amps, and we want it to switch down to 9 volts, but it's going off. We may also have a problem with our M92. That's very possible. Yeah. So I think it's wise to start with M92 and see what happens. Let me try another battery. Maybe the battery I have for some reason is faulty or went faulty. I always use it to test Nintendo game consoles, but what if the battery, something happened to that battery? 12 volts, 0.5 amps. Oh, 9 volts, right there. So the battery, wow, the battery, my good battery was not charging. It was making the screen go black, and I use this all the time to test consoles. I do not know what happened. 9 volts at 0.6 amps, so that's the problem. The problem is our P13 chip. Let me try the first battery again. Plug the charging cable. 12 volts, 0.6 amps. Before it was showing 12 volts, 0.1 amps. Now it showed 0.6. It went off. Oh. 9 volts, 0.4 amps. Okay, so maybe the battery is dead. The battery is drained. And that's why it did what it did. Right there. It switched down to 9 volts. So that's our problem. The P13 chip. Wow. Let's replace it and then we'll reassemble the board and test the whole console. Wow, that's awesome. We do not have to change the M92, and all we have to do right now is replace the P13 chip, and we can already tell removing the P13 chip made the console work. It switched down from 12 volts to 9 volts, and that's perfect. Very good. Apply some Flux. And for those of you who do not know, we are a distributor for Amtech Flux. You can purchase it off our site. Just search for Amtech or 559 and you will find it. You can purchase as a wholesale or individual. Let's apply a fresh layer of solder. Very nice, and we're gonna have solder squeeze out when we solder a new chip. Okay, so that's our new chip here, and you can also purchase those chips along with many other Nintendo Switch chips from our site. The tweezer I'm using here, the chip, the Flux, the wick, hot air stations, soldering stations. We have it all in stock, and orders usually ship out same day. Right, and let's press down on the chip. And squeeze out all the excess. Wait until solder hardens. And done. We're gonna leave it like that, right? Of course not. Very nice. And we're done. All the pins are soldered on nicely. We're gonna clean up and we're gonna test it one more time. Then we're gonna reassemble and test, and then we're gonna make sure that it outputs an image to HDMI. And then we can invoice and mail this back to the customer. Actually, he's local. We're gonna call him to come and pick up. Maybe we'll call him today. We gave him expedited service without him paying for expedited. And the reason is because I have 3 Nintendo Switch boards on my bench. I told Big Boss to open all the switches that we have here. We have about 8 Nintendo Switches that we need to fix. I have 3 boards on my bench. I'll see if I can combine more than one switch in this video. But anytime I combine more than one repair in one video, it takes longer to edit and it takes longer to upload. So I like to keep it one at a time. But we'll see. The soldering is perfect. Let's test this one more time. Make sure it's charging properly from 12 volts to 9 volts. Using any one of the batteries that we have on the bench here. And I have 2 batteries that we can test with. So plug the charging cable. We should see 12 volts, 0.5 amps, and it should switch. 9 volts at 0.7 amps, and it's going up. 0.7 amps. Perfect. All right, let me give this to Big Boss to reassemble and test, and I'll be back to finish the video. Big Boss is done with the assembly. Yes, right there. 15 volts, 0.6 amps. And it's going to switch over to 15 volts at 1 amp. Awesome. Amazing. Look at this. Look at this. Awesome. We have this unit here that will be posted on our site maybe today or tomorrow. And it supports up to 20 volts. So you can charge a laptop with this station here. Thank you, Big Boss. Welcome. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions. And we'll do something else in the next video.